Ever since Matt Stafford entered the league in 2009, his talent was clear to everyone. But after a dozen years with the Detroit Lions, of mostly losing and 0 playoff wins, his career was headed toward what-if status. Mainly, what if he played for a more functional organization with greater talent surrounding him? Fortunately for Stafford, Rams GM Les Snead is a gambler and went all in to get Stafford with one goal in mind: win the Super Bowl this year at home in SoFi Stadium. Now only one game away from that becoming a reality, it appears the trade and the high price was worth it. While the Rams have star-studded talent up and down the roster, they are here because of Stafford, who has not only been lights out in their 3 postseason games, but he has saved his best throws for down the stretch in critical moments against the Bucs and the 49ers.
Long time coming. Spent a lot of years in this league, and I've loved every minute of it. I sure am happy for this opportunity for not only myself, but really so many guys in that locker room that deserve this too.
You can argue there is no player who will be on the field at Super Bowl 56 whose career narrative stands to benefit more with a win than Stafford. Quarterbacks are fairly or unfairly judged by Super Bowls. Will Stafford join that exclusive club and cap off a dream season his entire career has been building toward this moment?
Well, Matt Stafford and Joe Burrow, they're going to be here in Los Angeles, a place where people come to be stars. And for one of those quarterbacks, that will be the case as they try to lead their team to win a Super Bowl, ending a Super Bowl drought for their franchises. For our picks today, we have Wizard of Odd, Kenny White, and NFL analyst Brady Quinn. Guys, as we look at these props, an interesting piece. Our friends at Caesars set the line exactly the same for all these props except for one. So I want to start favorite passing touchdown prop. Kenny, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm going to go under. When you're looking at both quarterbacks, you're right. Their overall stats, their median numbers are very similar throughout. But when you look at the defenses, I think that's where that comes into play. Joe Burrow is median of 2 touchdown passes a game, but this Ram defense has been awfully difficult to throw scores against, and I think that's the difference in the game. Also, Joe Burrow's passing stats on the road are lower than they are at home. So the Ram defense is good. I'm going to go under 1.5 touchdown passes for Burrow plus $1.30.
I'm on the exact opposite side of this. This entire year has been about Joe Burrow, the emergence of the Cincinnati Bengals, in particular, his relationship and really his ability to make big plays to Jamar Chase. That's what this offense has been about. They have other weapons opposite of whoever Jalen Ramsey at times will be on, so they've got enough productivity to be able to get this done. And to be honest with you, if the Bengals want to win this football game, they're going to have to throw it in. They're going to have to make big plays throwing the football. I don't think they're going to be able to control the line of scrimmage against that Rams defensive front. So I like the over of Joe Burrow 1.5 touchdown passes.
All right, talking now favorite Super Bowl passing yards prop. This is the one. The numbers are different. Over under 279.5 for Stafford. Over under 275 and a hook for Burrow. Brady, what's your pick?
I've got the over on both, but if I had to pick a favorite, I'm leaning on Burrow because I think they're going to have to. They're going to have to get the ball out of his hand quick, try to wear out that front. Von Miller, Leonard Floyd, Aaron Donald, all the rest of them. Even Greg Gaines will get after it. So they have to wear down that front. Quick passes to the outside, take some shots, big plays down the field, and then try to work in some of the run game. Kind of throw to open up the run. So I think it's going to be over for him. Stafford, I'm not so sure, Kenny, because I feel like they've been doing a good job of running the football often this postseason, taking some of the pressure off of his shoulders.
They really have. Since Cam Akers came back, they've really tried to make it an issue. Well, the end of the season, all of the interceptions that Stafford was throwing, they knew they had to get a little bit more conservative. They knew they had to run the football. And I think that happens with Cincinnati. And again, I'm looking at home and away stats. Joe Burrow this year, 250 yards per game on the road, 271 overall. So I'm looking at a little higher number than that. And then you look at the Ram defense. They've only allowed, in their home games, 210 passing yards a game this year at home. So, and again, it's going to come down to conservative coaching, I think, in this game. It reminds me a lot of Patriots-Rams 3 years ago, that 2 inexperienced coaches have really... McVay has some experience, but Zach Taylor doesn't. Right. And I think they'll be conservative. They'll run the ball. First down. Tony Romo was just beside himself. Would you do something besides throwing on first down?
I was going to ask you that. Do you feel like it's going to be a home game here for the Rams? Because it feels like there may be a big Cincinnati contingent coming in.
Well, there could be, but I still think it'll be a Ram home game. And they didn't have to travel. No travel day for them.
Right.
They're playing on their field. So they've seen what it's like to have more fans in the stands by the opponent as well. Because the 49ers had 60% fans those last 2 games.
Yeah. All right, well, let's talk giveaways now. Super Bowl interception prop over under half an interception. Do want to make note, though, Matt Stafford, 17 interceptions in the regular season. Tied for most, but postseason, 8-1 total TD to INT. You think there's going to be some giveaways in this one, Brady?
I think if there's going to be one, it's probably going to be from Stafford. Reason being, I mean, it's 8-1 in the postseason. However, it should have been one last week. If Jaquiski Tartt can pull that one down, might change the complexity of who's actually playing in this game. That being said, my money's on Stafford. I think in that moment, taking a chance, potentially turning the football over. Even though I do think Burrow could be under duress, trying to throw from the pocket with those pass rushers.
That's the one thing I looked at too. That he's going to be under duress. I think we've seen that. Tennessee put the pressure on him with 9 sacks. Kansas City only got to him once, but they pressured him, and they pressured him into some bad throws. He's throwing an interception in 11 of his 22 games. Comes out to about what the number should be, minus 125. But the Rams have intercepted a pass in 15 of their 20, and 8 in a row. So this defense is ball hawking right now. The pass rush, I think that all adds up to Burrow throwing an interception and Stafford throwing an interception. I have both guys throwing a pick in the game.
All right, now let's talk pass attempts. Over under 36.5 for both guys. Burrow averaging about 36.3 pass attempts this postseason. As for Stafford, 33.3. So which way are you leaning in this one?
I like Burrow in the over here. And again, I think this game's going to go one of two ways, kind of playing to the home field advantage that the Rams should have, really the rest too. They traveled fourth most of any team this regular season. But when you look at the postseason, they only had to go to Tampa. That's it. So they should be well rested. If that plays to their advantage, I think you're going to see a lot more passes, obviously, from the Bengals, potentially playing from behind in this one. But either way, again, the biggest strength for this Bengals offense is throwing the football, utilizing their matchups on the outside, getting the ball out of his hand quick. So I think the over of Joe Burrow attempts, to me, is where this one sits.
Yeah, I could see that happening, and I can really see falling behind, the Rams having a lead in this game, that playing from behind, they'd have to throw the ball on every down in the late third, fourth quarter. So, but I'm going under just because I'm crunching numbers, and I'm looking at these numbers. On the road, Joe Burrow, his median number, 30 pass attempts per game. That's it. And the Rams, when they play at home, they've been only allowing 32 pass attempts at home. So both those numbers well under what I'm looking at. And again, I think both these coaches are conservative in nature, where they'll punt at midfield, 4th and 1. They're not going for it. They're punting, and they will take field goals. They'll take the 3 points whenever they can get it. So I think it's going to be a close game, and the pressure of this game, obviously. This is such a big game. I could see both teams taking a little pressure off their quarterback, trying to run the football.
And we have seen those Cincinnati come from behind a couple times already this postseason. So, why not us, was they're saying. Completions props over under 45.5. Matt Stafford, though, and Joe Burrow, top 5 in completion percentage, yards attempt, yards per game, and passer rating this season. Again, these guys just so close on paper. Kenny, in this one, which way are you leaning?
Yeah, and again, all these props, when they're made and they're put out by William Hill or Caesars, are inflated a little bit. They make a number and then they add 5 yards to it, or they add one completion, they add 2 pass attempts, because they know where the general public's going to come in. They're going to bet these over. So I'm going under on this one as well. 20 pass attempts, or 20 completions for Joe Burrow on the road. His season median for all games is just 23. Now, it is a little bit higher the last 6, but again, I got to look at the Ram defense. 21 pass completions per game in their home games. Again, I think they can control the football on the ground a little bit in this game. So I think they shorten the game. There's less plays, and it's going to be very close. I mean, these are scary to bet under, obviously. They're no fun to bet under when you're watching a Super Bowl.
Hold on, Kenny. You're telling me we have to deal with inflation with groceries and gas, everything else. Now in the betting world, we have to deal with inflation
This
as
has
well?
been going on forever.
Give me a break, man. I've got the under of Matt Stafford completions, and in part because I think we've seen in the postseason, they want to run the football, they want to establish the line of scrimmage, but also there's a sense to it, I don't think he's going to have to necessarily complete that many passes, as big of an impact as Cam Akers has had. So I like the under of 24.5 completions for Matt Stafford. I think once again he'll look to have an efficient game this one. Don't put too much on his shoulders.
What longest completion prop jumps out to you? Both quarterbacks top 3 in completions, 30 plus yards in the air, Kenny.
Yeah, when I looked at this kind of almost changed some of my thinking, because Brady's right. Cincinnati, their wide receivers are amazing. And when you have T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, you have 2 top 10 wide receivers. I don't think any other team has that talented of receivers. Then you throw in Boyd in that mix, and the Ram receivers are just as good. Cooper Kupp, best receiver in football. And I started to look at the longest completion. More than not, both these teams went well over this number in their games this year. Cincinnati was on a run because it seemed like Chase had a 50-yard pass like 5-6 games in a row. So that kind of scared me. The games that they did not do well in was against kind of weak teams they took lightly. So I went over in both teams completing a pass over 38.5 yards. I think there'll be at least one big play by each team, but I hope there's not a lot of big plays.
I'm with you. I almost picked over here. I think if I had to lean one side, though, I'd go with Matthew Stafford. And reason being is I just kind of trust Sean McVay scheming something open, scheming something up for Odell Beckham or Cooper Kupp, and then finding a lot of yards after the catch. And also, I think I believe more, especially with that veteran secondary for the Rams, Eric Weddle being back there. He's seen it all, done it all.
Yeah.
He's going to say, look, at this game, deeper than the deepest, all right? We're going to play back, keep everything in front of us. Do not allow them to throw over your head. I think he'll bring some of that veteran presence to their secondary, too, coaching those guys up, making sure no one's going to give up that big play in the biggest game of the season.
It's going to be a fun matchup between these two top quarterbacks in the league. Kenny White, Brady Quinn, thank you for the time. And be sure to catch our prop special, our guys from the Pick Six podcast. It's going to be Thursday from 4 to 6 Eastern. Kenny White's going to be there, Larry Hartstein, Pete Prisco, all hosted by our very own Chris Hassel and Jonathan Coachman. Make sure not to miss it.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.